Welcome to the Online Success Journey podcast, your opportunity to discover and learn from entrepreneurs like yourself. This is not your typical podcast, but a place where you can get the real story and find out how real people encounter speed bumps and detours, but journey through to find success. Now here's your host for the Online Success Journey podcast, Patience.
Hello everyone and welcome to Online Success Journey. This is episode 356 and you'll want to subscribe right now and ensure you'll never miss a journey. The entrepreneurs that join me each week reveal the steps they took on their journey to success, and these steps reveal a path you can take as well. Today we have Jim Heininger, the Rebranding Man. He leads the efforts of the Rebranding Experts, which he founded in 2017. After 30 years of business branding strategy experience and coaches CEOs through the rebranding process. Hello, Jim.
Hello, Patience.
Hello, thank you for coming. Let's get started with the basics. Can you tell my audience a little bit about your background, about what you did before you started your own business?
I spent about 25 years in the big communications agency business here in the United States, working on major campaigns for clients like Procter & Gamble and Wendy's and Motorola, and grew up in that environment. And then went and did a very senior level communications consulting job out at McDonald's Corporation, which is based here in Chicago where I am, and was very involved in helping them work through some major issues they were facing that were impacting their reputation among customers. And coming out of that experience, McDonald's liked the work that I did, and so they helped ensure that we had plenty of work so that I could start my own business, start my own agency, and continued to do work for them, but then also took on other clients as well too. And while doing that work, we kept on being asked by companies to help rebrand them. And it was kind of a new experience for me. And so I dove into understanding what was involved in rebranding and realized that the offerings that were out there just weren't sufficient to help organizations rebrand successfully, that branding agencies and marketing firms really weren't approaching it in a very holistic and comprehensive kind of solution for clients. And so created Rebranding Experts and brought in all the different kind of competencies and experts that were needed to be able to do it right. And it's been a great 5 years now, helping a lot of mid-sized companies go through this process successfly.
Wow, that's a great background, Jim. But why do you do what you do?
So I'm in my sweet spot right now in terms of doing what I love and what challenges me and what pulls upon all the experiences that I've gained across 30 years of my career. It requires all the different kind of competencies and strategies that are necessary to help a company do this. So it makes me feel great about the work I do and energized to get up and do it every day. And we've really found a niche that no one else is doing, and certainly doing it as well as we are. And that drives me as well too, by being really the expert in this particular area and a sought after authority is what drives, kind of my ambition as well.
Let's put man aside. How do you know you are successful?
So I actually think others define our success. It's hard for, us individually to say, okay, look, I'm successful. I've done this, I've done that. You may have numbers, you may have your business is growing, and that's all good. But it's when others say that person is successful, or that's who I would recommend that you use for this project, or I admire that person in the way they run their business. To me, that's the ultimate definition of success, is when others describe you in that way.
Who should rebrand and why?
So let me start by kind of explaining what rebranding is. So if we start with a brand and what a brand is, well, a brand is that kind of set of expectations, memories, stories, relationships that when all bundled up together, help a customer decide which product or service that they're going to choose over another. And we're all surrounded by brands and make brand decisions every day in terms of what soft drink you're going to buy, what laundry detergent you may use. And it's all because of the power that that brand has in your mind on giving you confidence that that's the right decision. So companies spend a lot of time building their brands over the years, and there sometimes are occasions where that brand just doesn't work as hard as it should, or doesn't bring as much value to the company as it should, and you need to look at changing brands. Branding, we always like to say, is about differentiating yourself in the marketplace. It's about really putting forth what makes you different than competitors so that people can make the decision to use you. So if you rebrand, you're kind of saying, I need a new brand in order to really successfully grow my business. So there's a lot of reasons a company may rebrand. The most common one is when there's been a merger or an acquisition and you have brand decisions that you need to make. And so you have to choose one of the two brands or create a new one altogether. Sometimes there's leadership changes who want a new brand. Oftentimes it's the brand is just kind of, it's run out of steam. It's no longer relevant to your customers. It doesn't have the meaning that it once did, and you need to refresh it. You need to come up with something new. Or you have a really ambitious growth strategy. You are going to enter new markets, or you're going to target a new customer base that you never have before, and you need a new brand that's going to be relevant to those people, to those customers. So those are a lot of the reasons that a company may rebrand.
Tell my audience about the magic moment, the day it suddenly all went right for you.
The moment it all went right for me, I think I would say when the work that I had done consulting at McDonald's Corporation and really was of great value in terms of the contributions I was making there. And the assignment was kind of coming to an end, but there was still some other work that could be done. And they said, why don't you take that work and start your own business? And we will support you. We'll enable you to get off the ground and get running as long as we can still have access to you, and you can be here to consult with us. And so to me, that was kind of that nod that the value that I was bringing was worth investing back into me and allowing me to pursue a dream that I had had. So I think that's probably the moment.
As you mentioned that you've been working with so many brands out there and the companies, I hope you have met entrepreneurs and aspiring entrepreneurs as well. But can anyone be an entrepreneur, or are some people more cut out for it than others?
I believe entrepreneurship requires a unique set of capabilities that not everyone has or is comfortable with. It requires a steadfast belief in yourself and the value that you can bring to others. It requires an ability to kind of construct your story and go out and tell that to others in a meaningful way that they will listen and trust you and give you the opportunity to do the work that you can do for them. And it's always marketing yourself. It's always finding ways to elevate your viewpoint and your unique contributions that you can make, and sharing it with others so that it benefits them, but it also intrigues them in wanting to use you as a resource. It's interesting because I have found that a very comfortable thing to do throughout my entire career. But I know many people who have worked in the corporate environment who they work for someone. They don't work for themselves. And when they found themselves needing to look for a new job or wanting to look for a new job, and I talked about what was involved in going out on your own or hanging up your own shingle and creating your own business, it was very uncomfortable for them. It was not a space that they were comfortable going, and they chose to stay in the corporate environment where they worked for someone and they got a regular paycheck. So I think it's a unique set of capabilities, and part of what an individual needs to do is really challenge themselves is, do I have what it takes? Talk to other entrepreneurs and, hear their stories and say, do I have what it takes to do that on my own as well too?
Tell us what we should consider when rebranding.
So rebranding a company, or I always like to say that, we talk a lot about a personal brand, which is certainly very important for entrepreneurs too, that you have built that kind of personal brand of what you stand for and what's unique and different about you that people may want to hire. It's really, that the primary step in the whole process is going inside and understanding what is the driver behind our business or me as a person. What's really within my soul that I need to better share externally, and put in context for people what it is that I do better than anybody else. And we oftentimes will ask that question when we're working with companies and exploring what their new brand should be, is what is your fight? What is it that you do better than anybody else that's out there? And using that as the core of then building a new brand that, could include a new company name, a new promise to customers, a new customer experience, and then all the visual pieces that come with it too, like logos and websites and how it's used in marketing. So really starts though, that very beginning is, what's at your soul and what do you promise others that you're going to do for them?
Thank you. What have you learned from business as a whole?
Well, you need to be very organized. You need to be very disciplined. You need to communicate very clearly. Especially if you want to be successful, people have to understand what you're conveying and find it not only interesting, but persuasive. And I think, I'm not one that likes to play a lot of business politics. I tend to kind of put that to the side and just focus on doing good work and thinking that the good work is going to earn you the reputation and the success that you're seeking. So I'm not one that encourages anyone to get caught up in politics or any of that kind of behind the scenes trying to influence things. I find it to be very disruptive in any kind of work environment.
What is the most dangerous belief an entrepreneur can have?
I think it would be an ego too big, thinking that they're too good, that they're too successful. I mean, you need to have that drive of every day working hard, almost starting over every single day, to show your worth and your value to your customers.
If you could rerun the first year of your business, what would you definitely not do?
I would probably say I wouldn't be as cautious. So, once launching the business, I think that I probably would have been more assertive in terms of sharing our story and calling up people and meeting people and really pushing to advance the business. I think it's a concern probably any entrepreneur has, is what's the right level of assertiveness that helps you grow the business but doesn't offend people. And I think I could have turned it up a notch a little bit more. But you're careful. You're coming out of the box that first year. You're always a little careful that you do it right. And I guess my encouragement would be, there's probably always room for a little bit more assertiveness.
What is the most valuable thing you have ever given away?
Most valuable thing I've ever given away is just, I think, advice and just sharing my experiences where they are relevant to what someone else is going through. I mean, nobody wants to sit and listen to your whole story over and over again. But if you've been down a path that they are approaching or that they're facing now, and there's something you learned along the way that might benefit them, that's golden. You're giving them a map to success. And it's like raising kids. You have to be careful to share the advice that's going to help in the right situation at the right time and not continually overload them with too much direction. Let them learn on their own, let them grow on their own. But, a good experience is worth $1 million.
What is one thing that has contributed to your success?
I have a tremendous drive and I'm very disciplined at getting the work done that I know needs to get done, and always having it done before the customer asks for it, to send it to them a couple days early, to have thought through anything and everything that you should to do the best job possible, and surprise and delight the client, by thinking about it more than what someone else would if they were in my shoes.
What grounds you?
Grounds me. I grew up in a family of ministers. It's actually 4 generations of ministers. And my father was one, my grandfather, my great-grandfather, and great-great-grandfather. And so our home environment was one of respect and appreciation for others, one of inclusion, and uh, not being humble, so not being too boastful, being humble about yourself and your success. So I would say that it was that environment that has enabled me to do great work and work hard and achieve success, but do it in a way that others admire and respect.
What are the greatest challenges in rebranding?
So rebranding an organization is a big decision for a company. For a CEO usually to say, I'm going to change the name of our company, and I'm going to invest in doing it right and making sure that our entire workforce understands and, embraces it. And we're going to go out into the marketplace, and we're going to launch it with a great deal of excitement and commitment. It's a big decision. And so there's a lot of emotions that get drawn into it. It's kind of a long process. It can take a good 6 to 12 months to go through the process correctly. And so a CEO who's got numbers he or she needs to be watching every single day, they're eager. They want to get this done. And so walking them through that emotional journey and saying, okay, this part you're going to find a little tedious, or this part might get a little frustrating, but trust me, it's, your emotions are going to rise and elevate here as the pieces start coming together and as we go to market with this. And so really kind of holding their hand and making sure, that you forecast for them what's the next step in the process so that they can help kind of manage and temper their expectations is probably one of the most challenging pieces.
In your business, do you have a mentor or a coach yourself?
So I have never found that single person who is, the ideal great mentor to me. I actually draw upon viewpoints from a variety of different people, kind of a board of directors, so to speak, informal board of directors, that where there's something I value about what they have achieved or the way they conduct themselves. And I pull from all of them to try to, mold it into one set of advice that I would go from. And it seems to have worked pretty well so far.
What is the most valuable thing you have got from your boards?
The most valuable advice I think I have gotten from all these kind of mentors that have contributed ideas is a sense of you can't close the door at night, that you need to keep working and be devoted to this 24/7, that you own it, and you're the driving force behind it, and others need to be energized by you and commit to what you're doing and commit to the business success. And so it's not like a job where you clock out at 5 o'clock and go home. You got to be thinking about it all the time, and with a lens of how do I make this better? How do we do better work for this client? How do I grow the business? How do I do better for my people? And it's nothing that it's, not the kind of thing you can clock out at 5 o'clock. You need to do it all day long.
What is one thing no one knows about you?
One thing no one knows about me. The first I would say is that I was the son of a minister and 4 generations of ministers. But I've told you that one now. So the second would be, and this is kind of funny, because this is a very American kind of college experiences, I was a cheerleader in college. So I was a male cheerleader, and we cheered at football games and basketball games. And in the United States, it's a very athletic activity. So you're building pyramids of people, and you're lifting up the female cheerleaders and flipping them around and so forth. So it was a great athletic experience as well as fun to show the spirit for my college that I went to. But the kind of metaphor I always make is that I have spent my whole career lifting other people's voices. I didn't go into the ministry like my father, but I lift other people's voices so that they can be heard more clearly. And what we did in cheerleading was very much that. I would lift the female partner up high so that she could yell louder and further than I could. So it's kind of a funny experience, but there's many ways that it kind of all contributes to this.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Let's talk about your business. Tell us more about it and who can join you.
So Rebranding Experts is this team of experts we're based out of Chicago, but we've got folks around the country that bring the right kind of experiences to help organizations rebrand successfully. And that includes everything from creative and design and strategy and customer experience and all the different things that are necessary as part of this total package. And we're certainly always have an eye out for what we call rebranding evangelists. So people who are really excited and driven by the idea of helping organizations through this unique strategy, because we really are in a niche. And then we do a lot of thought leadership out there, sharing what rebranding is all about, the decisions that need to be made as part of the process so that customers, potential clients, will find that information, read about it, say, these guys know what they're talking about. Let me check them out. Let me give them a chance to come in and pitch our business and see if they can support us through their rebranding.
How can we connect with you?
So we are, our website is rebrandingexperts.com. And then we're certainly on all the social media platforms under Rebranding Experts. Twitter is Rebrand Experts.
Thank you. There will be more from Jim in a moment. If you are listening to this on a podcasting platform and you are encouraged by Jim's journey, please go to our website at onlinesuccessjourney.com. In addition to the amazing free content, you can work direct with me. Check out my course, Success: How to Set Goals and Double Your Productivity, a course for achieving success in work and life, when you visit onlinesuccessjourney.com. The site has a ton of audio clips from hundreds of successful entrepreneur guests' journeys, all there to help you find the path to your own online success journey. Check it out. That's onlinesuccessjourney.com. Now, Jim, I would love for you to share more with my audience if you're up for it.
You bet.
Thank you. Do you watch movies or read books?
I read a lot of magazines. I don't read as much fiction, but I read a lot of magazines to keep up on what's going on in the world and trends and thoughts and so forth, and love movies.
Tell us, what is your favorite magazine that has some relevance to being an entrepreneur?
So I'm a big fan of Harvard Business Review. There's lots of stories as well as contributed pieces in HBR that I find extremely relevant and stimulating for how to achieve success in the business environment.
If your business was down to its last $100, how would you invest it?
I would invest it in marketing, in getting our thought leadership viewpoint out to more potential customers so that they would, really see us as having a different point of view and set of capabilities than what our competition may have, and make us their first choice.
What encouragement have you got for my audience who are not quite there yet?
I think when it comes to entrepreneurship and business in general, it's really sitting down and asking yourself the questions of, am I confident telling this story of what my business proposition is, what my business can do to benefit them and their lives? And am I willing to carry that on my shoulders alone? Because if you're going to go into entrepreneurship, it's on your shoulders. And there's no one there to fill in for you when you are sick or when you're off someday. So am I willing to put all that weight on my shoulders, knowing that the payoff when you work hard and you are successful will be there, and that you can then train and teach others to do it just as good as you can or better, and they can help grow the business from that stage on.
If you are going to keep a note to yourself in your pocket every day, what would be written on it?
I would have two things on it. The first would be kind of just a general belief or philosophy from my childhood and the way I was raised, which was do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So to treat people with the respect that you hope to receive in return. And then the second would be get back to work. That there's always thinking that can be done on behalf of your business. And so, take a quick mental break, but then get back to work and begin thinking, of what can we do next? What can we do to delight clients even more? How can we grow the business even faster?
What is your next chapter?
I think in this kind of consulting work that we do, the hope is that you build such a strength and a presence in the niche that like we have created with rebranding, that it is of value to someone else someday too. And that I may be presented with the offer or the opportunity for it to be purchased and be part of another kind of larger consulting firm that wants to have this unique specialty that no one else does. And so I think that's the dream of any entrepreneur, is that somebody will find value in what you have created and be willing to pay you for it.
Do you feel like you succeeded or like you're only on the way?
I will always feel like I'm only on the way. And that is because I don't want to spend my time saying I've succeeded, because I think that that's determined by others. Others define your success, not you. And so I will always be on the path toward working harder for it.
Will you ever stop?
Not until I sell it or I say it's time to retire.
Wow, thank you. Remind us how we can connect with you once more.
You can find Rebranding Experts at rebrandingexperts.com and on social media platforms under at rebrandingexperts.com, except for Twitter, which is at Rebrand Experts.
Jim, it's been great to have you here to share your online success journey with us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
You are welcome. Remember, success is a journey. Don't wait. Let's start the journey. Patience and Jim.
This is not the end of the journey. We hope you've enjoyed listening to Patience and her guest, and want you to know that there are hundreds of episodes available at onlinesuccessjourney.com. Patience would like to thank you for listening to the podcast, and she has a free gift for you on her website, including an audio compilation of her guests' best tips, uplifting stories, and even a bit of fun. Additionally, there are special clips of over 250 episodes that have never aired on the podcast and are only available to members of the Online Success Journey. Check the website and click on Join Now to get free and instant access. Of course, you know that listening to the journeys of others helps us each chart our own path. So make sure you're subscribed on the favorite platform you have to be notified as each new interview is posted. There are so many ways to stay connected to the Online Success Journey and listen in. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we appreciate your help in telling others. One of the best ways to share the benefit you get is to rate and review the podcast at Apple Podcasts and other sites. We appreciate your help and your willingness to share the journey. One last thing. If you're feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed on your own journey, Patience can help. Check out our coaching sessions on how to set goals and double your productivity while you're at the website. Working with Patience is a great way to get back on the right path. On behalf of Patience, and until next time, thanks once more for listening. It is our hope that this podcast will guide you on your own online success journey.